Hello everybody, it is Brad Flynn and I manage a small town here in the Lehigh Valley. I want to welcome you here tonight in my living room. I got a fire going, it's cold outside, and I figured we'd talk about recycling. Yes, I want to talk to residents, other municipalities about what we're getting wrong with recycling. And is it really a question of right and wrong? So you'll have to stick around if you want to find out the answer to that question. Our town is a good case study in the recent trends concerning recycling programs. Recycling's been in my entire life of 41 years. I grew up with it through the 80s, and nowadays it's almost unheard of to not recycle. Almost feels illegal, really. It's right for the environment. It's ingrained in our culture, and it's all we've heard for decades. We're even recycling food waste now.
Eat recycled food. It's good for the environment and okay for you.
But the inside truths about recycling doesn't seem to be spreading. Recycling is a labor-intensive and costly process, leaving many to ponder the fate of even doing it anymore. Appearing in the Atlantic magazine March 5, 2019, an article discussing the cost increase of recycling on municipalities across the country. We'll start from East Coast to the West Coast. In Franklin, New Hampshire in 2010, the town recorded revenues of $6 per ton of recycled material. In 2019, things flipped. Franklin was faced with spending $125 a ton to haul it all away, or just $68 a ton to incinerate. When it came down to dollars and cents, you can bet which way Franklin chose to go. Same for Fort Edward, New York, suspending its recycling program due to cost, opting instead to incinerate. In Broadway, Virginia, after a 22-year run with recycling, the program was suspended after a 63% jump in recycling costs. Same goes for officials in Blaine County, Idaho. Blaine County's mixed paper recycling program was packaging 90% clean mixed paper recyclables. Then the county's recycler buyer wanted the material to be 99% clean. So rising the costs ended Blaine County's mixed paper recycling program. One of the biggest setbacks in the recycling industry in recent history has been China's January 1st, 2018 tariff and its policy change on contaminated recyclable waste. This would have been buried in the news because right after this we had COVID, but this is what happened in 2018. The restrictions forced recyclable waste contamination rates to fall at or less than 0.5%, and that's a tall order. And it's a very, very big deal for us as Americans because 40% of our recyclable waste was going to China before the policy changed. And right here in the Lehigh Valley, the Morning Call reported an article on April 21st, 2020, pointing out that Waste Management in Northampton County was sending 27% of its recyclable waste to China. That number has since dropped to 2%, shipping recyclables elsewhere. As China tightened up on regulations, the U.S., meanwhile, hasn't addressed its own problems with recycling. And it's a multifaceted issue. First, Americans are consuming and buying more and more stuff. Waste production has increased by 60% since 1985. And for manufacturers, there is zero incentive to package materials using recycled plastics. And so they don't. It's cheaper for the manufacturers to produce more virgin plastics in their packaging than to use recycled plastics. And all along the way, we've become this kind of recycling litter bugs. Look at this clip from the Trailer Park Boys. Father Ricky shows daughter Trinity how garbage is absorbed to the earth. This is relatable, I swear. It'll make sense with American recycling. So take a look. Now, why would you do this?
You're not allowed doing that. That's littering.
I've noticed that if you throw something into a water body, like a lake or an ocean, that the next day you come back and it's gone. So somehow it takes it away.
We know that's not how it works.
And it just cleans it up like a garbage compactor or whatever. So it's not really littering, if you ask me. It's fine. The water's going to wash it all away, sweetie.
We know that's not how it works. But that's been us with recycling. Americans use the recycling bin as this magical portal where anything goes and somehow turns into something useful again. The arrival of a single stream recycling system in the 90s was the game changer to recycling. It made recycling very attractive, very convenient, it was kind of sexy. You didn't have to separate everything out. All the bottles, all your cans, your aluminums, all the paper could just go in one bin. But the problem is single-stream plastics, items made from different types of plastic, are hard to separate in an efficient manner. For processing centers, their machinery would get gummed up, jammed. It slows the operation of recycling down. And labor costs to sort through recycled material and fix the machines has become more expensive. and the Lehigh Valley hasn't been immune. The Morning Call article, also cited here from February 2020, pointed to contamination issues, saying that different colored recycled glass melts at different temperatures, and if crushed glass gets mixed with other items, it can't be used to make anything else. So it's contaminated, and then what happens is it goes right to the landfill. The National Waste and Recycling Association, they're reporting that 25% of what Americans recycle now ends up in the landfill. And I'm willing to bet that number's a little bit higher than that, maybe even 30-40%. Recycling has other drawbacks, less well known or even considered. Just a few days ago, on January 19th in 2023, a New York Post opinion piece questions this religion of recycling. The piece, albeit opinion, argues that simply rinsing out a plastic container with warm water has a higher net result in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere than just throwing it away. The article also argues when Los Angeles mandated recycling, it added 400 more garbage trucks to the streets, creating more noise, more pollution into the environment. So in a way, it makes you wonder if all along we've been trading in one bad thing for an equally bad thing. I would need more data myself to see, but it's an interesting take to say the least. And here in Pennsylvania, we have the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, DEP. They impose recycling mandates, just not statewide. Of the estimated 2,700 municipalities in the state of Pennsylvania, only 440 or 16% are required to recycle. There is a number of well-intentioned communities, 1,930 of them, or 71%, that do have recycling programs. Of those 1,930 municipalities, 440 are mandated, 617 offer curbside recycling, and another 873 offer recycling drop-off centers. 28% of those offer both curbside recycling and also a drop-off center. So recycling programs are available for 94% of Pennsylvania's population. What we can't see in these numbers is the downsized or eliminated programs among municipalities through time, especially after that 2018 Chinese policy change. It'd also be nice to take a closer look at recyclable material collected and what portion is truly being dumped in our landfills. So it does make us wonder, have the scales been tipping against recycling, at least in recent years? Either way, costs seem to be the main driver of reducing, eliminating, and yes, even retaining recycling programs. Right here in the Lehigh Valley, WFMZ 69 News ran a story on December 20th, 2021, talking about Freemansburg Borough and their decision to eliminate curbside recycling due to costs. But that municipality opted instead for a recycling drop-off point. And that's really the storyline, folks. Some municipalities will bear down and keep recycling regardless of the expense because it's just the right thing to do. And some won't. In 2023, the Borough of Bath, the town in which I manage, we scrapped the recycling program to reduce trash bill rates. And what's this all come down to, really? It's us. Simply put, right or wrong, we're just bad at recycling. And is there a will to do more to fix what's wrong with the overall system? And this isn't an exhaustive list, but some would argue we need to reach near 100% clean recyclable material. We need better and affordable ways to process recyclables. We need manufacturers to use more recycled materials for packaging. But the flip side of that coin, and more importantly perhaps, is we need to slow down on consuming so much stuff and to learn to reuse more things. We also need to take more responsibility. We need to take time to learn and fully understand the recycling process. But will we? Until we do all of this, frontline local governments grappling with the rising cost of recycling are answering this one important question. This question was raised by Blaine County, Idaho officials right before they ended their mixed paper recycling program. This is what they pondered. At what point do you feel like you're spending too much money than it takes for people to feel good about recycling? This question likely rings true for many municipalities across the country and many different council chambers, all struggling with providing increasingly expensive recycle programs, in addition to understanding all the pitfalls of recycling in general. And maintaining a recycling program to some extent, if at all, hinges on how a community answers that question. So in the end, it's not a question of what's right and wrong. It's really a question of what we're all willing to do and at what cost. And in Bath, at least for now, given everything we know about ourselves and what we know about the recycling system, the community answered that question. So that's it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you have any questions, when I figure out how to do the comments, we'll go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we have the municipal channel on YouTube. I hope you subscribe. It's for Borough of Bath residents, but it can also be for anybody else in other municipalities, administrators, to have discussions like this. Take care for now. So long. We'll see you soon.